today's episode of Mohamed Talks with entrepreneurs, millionaires, billionaires, public speakers, motivational speakers, and more. Today, we have an insight on a huge motivational story from the one, the only Miss Ramona Rogers. We're going to explore the ideas that are in her mind, and we're going to see how it's like to live as an amazing motivational speaker. I'm really interested if you are as well. If you're listening to this on the podcast, be sure to give it to your friends. And if you're on social media, like, share, follow, and of course, check out Miss Ramona Rogers' social media accounts. Hello, Miss Ramona Rogers. How are you today?
I am well, Mohammed. I am great. It's exciting to be here with you.
Thank you very much. I'm super excited. I'm actually connecting with you because I'm used to listening to you on Clubhouse, and sometimes you don't know how you're going to see the person who you've been listening to for a while. So,
Yes.
yeah, it's been an amazing journey. You coming into my rooms, being into the JL.club rooms. It's just been an amazing experience. Great ideas. Everything was amazing. So, Miss Ramona Rogers, what is your story?
Well, wow. Well, I am considered a serial entrepreneur, and I am definitely a motivational speaker like yourself as well. And I started my journey when I was fairly young as well, just like you did. So, probably not as young. Well, you know what? That's a correction. I actually probably did start at about 13 now that I think back, but it was in a church setting, is where I really started speaking. And it was because my mother and my grandparents went to church on a regular basis. And inside of our church, we actually had children where the children would actually participate in the services, whether it be they were making the announcements or whether they were on different organizations like the Hospitality Guild, which is exactly where I actually started, making announcements, welcoming visitors, and things of that nature, speaking in front of the congregation. So I was approximately between 12 and 13 years of age when I started that part of my journey, which was speaking in front of crowds.
Awesome. So, besides your 12 to 13 part of your life, when did the business, the entrepreneur side of Miss Ramona Rogers start to pop up?
Awesome. So glad you asked that question. Actually, I come from a line of successful entrepreneurs. So my grandfather was a very successful entrepreneur. I watched him literally build a business on his own with his own bare hands from ground up. He was a successful entrepreneur for over 50 years, and that was in Florida, which is where I'm originally from, and I'm now currently living in Atlanta, Georgia, of course. But then I watched many of his children, including my mother, do the exact same thing. Started her own business, built it from ground up, was awesome at networking. They were all people. They loved people. They loved connecting. They were pillars actually in their community as well. So I literally watched them always connecting and reaching out to people, which is probably what you're seeing that I do as well, right? While I'm on Clubhouse as well. And it's something that you are also very good at doing as well. So thank you.
All right. So, the entrepreneurial side, the motivational speaking side, what is your message? What is the message that you want to give out to the world?
The message that I want to get out to the world is that you can absolutely do and accomplish anything, anything that you want to accomplish. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you're from, it doesn't matter what skills that you have that are considered gifts or any of the skills that you have that might necessarily need a little bit of nurturing or skills that you might need to grow in. There is always something that each and every one of us, you, can actually bring to the table as value that someone else can actually use. So each one of us have a gift that we were born with. And some of us find it early, some of us don't. Some of us aren't really interested in finding it. So we kind of just go through life wondering, so what am I here for? And what is it that I actually am good at doing? Well, I am here to tell you that you are good at something, you do have a gift, and you probably have been using it all along, but just probably did not know that it was your actual gift or purpose. So everyone has a gift, everyone has a purpose, and everyone has value that they bring to the table. And I actually help people through coaching learn what that gift is and identify it and actually use it to now help others.
That's an amazing story, Miss Ramona. So something that's really intriguing is that everyone thinks, okay, yeah, um, they're gonna play the victim role, right? They're gonna say, well, you were born into a family that has so many entrepreneurs. People are gonna say, oh, well, you have this, you were from this country, you are from this family. They're going to play the role of the victim. They're not going to start taking responsibility. So what are you going to say to that?
Wow, I absolutely love that you actually identified those people because those are my people. Those are the people that my voice is for. Those are the ones that I need to speak to and that I want to attract because life does not happen to you, but for you is a part of my message as well. And there isn't anything that you cannot accomplish and overcome despite your past issues, problems, challenges, struggles, doesn't really matter. Everyone can actually overcome whatever shortcomings and faults and things of that nature that they may have. As a matter of fact, in that word challenge, which is one of my favorite words, by the way, if you take the first three letters of the word challenge and the last three letters of the word challenge, which is CHA, and then NGE, and you put those six letters together, it actually spells change. And that is something that is constant. There's that's something that's constant that we all have to adapt to on a daily basis. There's absolutely nothing that stays the same. And that in that perspective, that is exactly what we too need to continue to adapt to as well. Change in our circumstances, changes in our environment, change in ourselves as well. So there isn't anything in your circumstances, in your past, about you that you can't change. So if you don't like something, guess what? You can change it by
All
putting in the
right,
work.
that's so awesome. Oh, continue. Sorry.
No. You're perfectly okay. And you can change it. My point with that I was finishing was that you can actually change it by putting in the time, energy, and the effort and seeking the knowledge and expertise from those that already have whatever it is that we want. So connecting to like-minded individuals. So back over to
That's
you,
so
Mohammed.
awesome and amazing. So everyone who's watching her, and I was like, okay, so that's amazing. So I can't really blame anyone. I'm gonna have to take control over my own life. And that's a realization that's really hard to obtain because a lot of people are like, well, my mom didn't give me this. My dad didn't do this to me. I grew up in this place. Listen, you're in charge, not your mom, not your dad, not your sister, not your brother, not your friends. No one's in charge of your life. It's your life for a reason because you own it. So people may be asking, you know what? I want to learn more from people like you. I want to understand more. I want to read some books, you know. What are the most important things that you have gained? Pieces of information, the bread and butter of motivational speaking, so people can actually get a hand of it and understand that it is important. Motivation is good, but good habits are what keep us going. So what is one piece of information that you have gained from a self-development book like Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Life Essentials, or more that really gets people to actually start doing the work instead of being a procrastinator?
I absolutely love that question. And one of my absolute favorite books is in fact Think and Grow Rich. I was also mentored by Bob Proctor as well. And Bob Proctor is, I believe, the catalyst, along with Jack Canfield. Those both of those were my mentors when I was coming through my professional journey in corporate America, which I have 20 years experience in corporate America as well, by the way. And personal development was a part of our daily routine and ritual. And we actually, the corporation that I work with, brought these mentors in to coach us through our journey in the area of sales, in the area of motivation, in the area of inspiration. And that is actually where I actually started really loving, and personal development became a part of who I actually was, and I still am, as a matter of fact. So I take great pride in all of the greats and the messages that they actually deliver. So every single day and night, a part of my morning routine and night routine is immersing myself in some form of personal development. So I love Simon Sinek. I love Bob Proctor. I love Tony Robbins. I love, of course, Oprah Winfrey
Same
is
here.
another. Yes, absolutely. Oprah Winfrey is another. And I have several authors as well as several books that I really, really love. In fact, I'm surrounded by books as I'm speaking to you right now. So some of my recent ones is The Best Year Yet. I also love Nicole Crank, and she has a book that I just recently read, and I just actually saw her at an event, a women's conference called Listen, last month, actually. And she also wrote one that was called Goal Getters. So I am a big goal setting. I think one of my strong suits is setting goals and then achieving them, which is why I was able, I believe, to achieve so much in such a short time and early on in my journey in my corporate career. So, Goal Getters by Nicole Crank was one of the recent ones that I absolutely loved.
All
And it
right.
talks a lot about what you also touched on, is taking full responsibility. We aren't responsible for what happened to us or what someone did to us or what someone said to us in our lives, but we are responsible for healing from it and making the necessary changes and committing to ourselves to show up for ourselves as well as for those who we are called to serve, as well as for those who are depending on us.
So basically, what Miss Ramona just said is that you see what anyone does to you, you're not responsible for that. You're responsible for the actions you take after that. Because you can't control another person, and no one else can control you. You have the full willpower. You know, one of my favorite books is the willpower book. It just gives you so much ideas. You know, the I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, it's like psychological books like Jordan Peterson's books. You know, there are so many
Yes,
amazing books that just let us open our mind. Now, it may be true or not,
absolutely.
but it does feel like most humans are only using 10% of their brain. It may not be true, but
Right.
it seems like we're only at a limited amount of thinking. You see, the human brain can
Yes,
process so many things, and it's so amazing. Our brains are on fire ever since we were born. So that's
absolutely.
why we need to learn more on how we can put this energy into reality. So we're here to
Right,
motivate you to start giving out your ideas into this world because your word matters. Your great word matters. Because we're here to spread positivity and no negativity. So, Mr. Mona,
that's
what
right.
is something that you want to change in this world, and how can other people, and how can we all, because it's probably all the same motive. We all want a good change in the world, but it's multiple steps. So, what is something that you want to change in this world?
Actually, I actually have a book that is in publishing right now, and it is actually called How to Put the Power Back in Empowerment. And I
Exclusively
actually
on Mohammed Talks' podcast.
That's right, absolutely, absolutely. And the fact that you just mentioned the mind and how powerful our minds and brains are, there's one other powerful book, really powerful book that I wanted to mention to you that you definitely should read as well. And it's called, if you haven't already, you probably have actually, but it's called Psycho Cybernetics.
I
And I
haven't
don't know
done
if
that
you
yet. Thank you.
absolutely. And it is definitely one that you definitely want to put on your list. And a lot of other people could actually use it as well. And it is just that it's the power of the mind and how impactful and powerful our thinking is, and how our thinking impacts our behavior and our actions, and how to actually change that through the power of cybernetics. It's how our mind and brain works.
Oh, that's amazing and outstanding. Well, guys, you better read that book, because it's important. Also, read Life Essentials and Miss Ramona's upcoming book. Hopefully, it's released by the time this podcast is out. Probably gonna edit it. You know what? Let's keep this on the back channel. So, Miss Ramona, our last 5 minutes, maybe our last 4 minutes in this life, we meet so many people, we make so many connections, and people are like, yeah, I had so much fun with this guy. But when you really think about it, it's all about business, because it's all about building generational wealth. It's all about gaining the knowledge, because knowledge is what got us to this point of day, to where I can talk to someone who is like 9,000 kilometers away from me, and a 9 hour flight away, face to face, audio perfectly clear. Hopefully that's what you guys get in the editing, and you guys could see us, because knowledge is what has led for us today. Now, what is something that you have developed that everyone needs to? When you were at the beginning of your rise, what is something that you have developed that really gave you that extra boost, the extra bit of energy? And at the end, tell us where we can find Miss Ramona Rogers and where we can contact her.
Absolutely. So, what I actually bring to and have always brought to anything that I actually have accomplished, and I have been a regional manager before with a company for 11 years. I traveled to 36 of the 50 states, living out of the suitcase, working with C-level, corporate level entrepreneurs as well as franchisees, and have been a trainer before and have trained other people. I'm still connected to a lot of them. I also, after that company went public on the New York Stock Exchange and went and they had an acquisition merger where they actually relocated to Minneapolis, and they asked if I would move there, and I said absolutely not. I wasn't leaving my sunny state of Florida to go to somewhere where I knew no one and had winters and snow ins and things of that nature. So I opted out of that, stayed at home, started my family after I was married, and then went into law enforcement as well for 8 years, and then grew with that, and loved it, absolutely loved it. And a lot of people are like, how did you switch from corporate America to working with people who were in a prison setting and that were on death row? And you, because I love people, and I love helping people. So what I have always brought to the table, which is my point of sharing a little bit about what I do, is I always bring humility to any and everything that I do. Bring humility. Humility meaning I am very humble. I consider myself a very humble person, and I can always relate to the other person that way. I'm never beneath them. I'm never above them. We are just like you and I right now. We
Yep.
can we can relate to each other, right? We can talk about our experiences. We can talk about our journeys, and there's always something that's interesting that I love sharing as well as receiving from the people that I'm connecting with. And that is definitely something that I believe has been one of my strong suits, as well as one of my gifts, I believe, that I bring to the table in anything and everything that I do. I also empathize with people. I meet people where they are. I don't necessarily expect people to have the same knowledge, expertise, and skill that I have. And if they don't, great. And if they do and have even more, that's even better, because I think that there's something that we can all learn from each other and our experiences. So back over to you, Mohammed. And I know that you do have some issues with your sound. occasionally,
Can
but
you hear
I'm
me?
going to keep speaking because it says record. Oh, there you are. I think you're coming back now.
Technical difficulties. That will be in the blooper section when I cut that out of the video. So, basically, Miss Ramona, it was a great and amazing day today. I loved it. It was outstanding. It was amazing. Today was just a great day to develop. And, Miss Ramona Rogers, did you mention already where we can contact you?
I did not get to that part yet, but yes, you can definitely find me on Facebook as well. I am Ramona Rogers Smith on Facebook, and then you can find me on Clubhouse. I am Radical Ramona on Clubhouse. Definitely follow me on all social media platforms. I am also on LinkedIn. I am also on Twitter at Ramona SMI1 on Twitter, as well as on IG. On IG, I am Ramona Rogers 959 on Instagram as well. And my book again is called How to Put the Power Back in Empowerment. And inside of all of my bios on all social media sites is a link tree where I actually offer Speaker Nation masterclasses for speakers who want to speak more powerfully with more impact, as well as I also offer coaching. I offer hourly coaching as well as mentoring and 6 month or 9 month coaching sessions as well. If you are interested in any of that, you can definitely find all of those opportunities to connect with me and work with me inside of my link tree that is listed in the bio of all of my social media sites as well.
All right, that is amazing. If you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening on Spotify, go to YouTube because in the description we're gonna have the links to her social media and if the book is out yet, her book. So I hope you're having an amazing day,
Absolutely.
everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. Ramona Rogers, for being here today with me on this great and amazing podcast. If you guys like this, be sure to like and reshare this podcast because we're coming back next week or tomorrow with another episode of Mohamed Talks with millionaires, billionaires, quadrillionaires, public speakers, motivational speakers, and more. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.